change, I really couldn't say. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I have today.
Talk about today. Hi, y'all. This is 1100 WSGI. I'm U-Turn LaVern, and yes, this is one street over, a chance for you to know what's going on one street over from where you living. What happened one street over from where you living on your street? We got more snow last night, you guys. Bill is here in the parking lot. He's going to be in here in just a second. I got Bill Jones coming in, our local weather authority, and he will talk to us about what our accumulation was. And that dusting we got last night, you've got to figure it came in, and I was super surprised when I wasn't planning on. I did my little road review as we came in, and I normally wouldn't do that after yesterday's initial coming in and showing off the weather and all that kind of thing. But I went ahead and did that this morning because we had that new dusting, and got to tell you guys that with it being so cold. That fresh ice, that fresh snow out there on top of that really cold ground really made it more slick this morning than what we saw yesterday. So just be advised that you've got a fresh dusting out there this morning that is, going to be an issue for you. You need to keep that in mind. If you're thinking about getting out, of course, schools are out. Speculation is we probably won't be back in school until Monday, and I feel like we'll be able to get back there Monday. Of course, they've not called anything off for tomorrow. And my administrators are going, shush, hush, don't say that, LaVern. But there's still some things going on that, we have to be mindful of. I know the wrestling state tournament is tomorrow, so I doubt that's getting postponed. So we've got some wrestlers in the area. They're going to be heading to the state tournament. And Mark, can you make sure Bill's okay out there? I figured he'd be coming on in here by now. But Bill was in the parking lot when we got here, so we'll go and make sure Bill's coming in so he can talk to us about the weather. But also, too, something big that's going on today. My baby boy is having a big birthday. Happy birthday, Elijah Vivio. So they're coming in and talking. I'm trying to wish you happy birthday, and they're talking over you, Elijah. But anyway, Elijah, my baby, my youngest, for all of you guys that had the that you talk about how that you heard about my babies being born on radio, this will make you feel old. My youngest is 29 today. Yikes. I mean, come on. But makes us all feel a little bit old. But happy birthday, Elijah. I bet you're having to work today, but we're going to celebrate him this weekend. Looking forward to that. But just had to get that business out of the way. I was wishing my son happy birthday, and y'all came in and started yik-yakking out there. Yeah, I know, but he's down in Alabama. They didn't get the snow. But Bill Jones is in the house. We're going to let him get in here and get settled. And I'll tell you, were you surprised to see a dusting of snow this morning?
No,
Additional.
I knew it was coming.
You did?
I measured 3/4 of an inch of dusting of snow.
3/4 of an inch we got. Mark, you were close.
Measured anyway, that'd be different other places.
And my husband came in this morning after we were getting up and getting ready, and he said, "Hey, we got more snow last night." And I said, "Well, how much do you think?" And he says, "I think about an inch." So, wow.
Yeah, it's
man.
close. Well, it varies from place to place.
So what was the official for the first snowfall that we had come through yesterday? What did you get?
I got 3 inches. Now, that's
really?
different. Yeah, there's a difference between, locations.
Okay.
And the reason for that, I was discussing this with a meteorologist the other day. He said there are snow bands. Snow bands usually occur around north of Michigan and stuff, but a lot of times it's cold air meeting warm air, winds. It causes snow bands, which one area, just a very short distance, will have a little more accumulation than the other.
Okay.
And that's why, it's not somebody's right or wrong. It's just a matter of, over here is one thing and over there is another. So
right.
I have weather stations at opposite ends of my house. I have two different ones. And sometimes they'll record differently.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And rain, snow, and wind and everything, it'll be different. And I try to keep them away from the house so the house doesn't affect it.
With the drifting and all that kind of thing,
yeah.
because that's one thing I'll see. I saw a friend of mine that she put the yardstick out in the little drift on her porch, and it said 3 inches. And so I figured,
don't use don't put them in a drift.
Well, you know what I mean.
A pad out in the yard is what I have.
Yeah.
Or put on concrete. But a lot of times, if you wait for a while before you measure on that concrete, it'll melt.
It'll melt too quickly.
So best to have a little wooden pad out in the yard flat, where it doesn't drift on top of it, and get your true measurements.
Okay. Well, and so about 3 inches then is what we've got, and then another almost inch on top of that. So wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm guessing we won't go to school
think
tomorrow.
what's going on out west though.
I can't even.
Ooh.
Mark and I, we were talking about the area he's from, because, he's from just south of Lake Superior, which is the Upper Peninsula, Michigan. And Sault Ste. Marie, which is on the other end of the peninsula from him, up by the locks and all of that, where you go up into Canada. How much did you say they've had, hun? How much snow?
His phone.
He's looking at his phone. He's listening to his phone. He's not listening to us. But I'll find out from him. But the amount of snow that they've had up there is just astronomical, and they still have measurable snow coming in for a few months.
Yeah.
That they'll have the snow season.
More used to it than we are.
Oh yeah, and they can remove it and all of that. And then looking at the forecast, it's going to be 60 degrees on Tuesday next week, y'all. So
well, it looks really good in March.
Yeah. So
next week looks good, and then we're back up to normal stuff next week, and even better than that in the first part of March. After that, who knows? But
yeah,
can't wait till tomorrow. It's going to be colder.
Yeah.
So after tomorrow, it's going to start warming up a little bit. We'll make it.
Yeah, I think that it could warm up enough that we can kind of feel back to normal on Monday, because I'm hoping we'll get back to school on Monday. Maybe.
Yeah.
Depends on what those back roads do, because we're going to have a lot of melting and stuff, but maybe just a delay or something on Monday.
Here, as we had all this snow on top of all this rain.
Yeah.
On top of all this water. Over at the YMCA, I was there yesterday, and they have a little amount of water in a field next to it, but it was clear up to Chick-fil-A the other day. A lot. It looks like a lake.
Yeah.
There, but of course, it's not very deep. Maybe.
Well, and that's what we're having. There's several places along our road as you're coming in. There's this one place where a family, I know, the Sweet family, I think they've been trying to build a lake there, and it just won't hold water. And so, boy, it's beautiful right now. It's full of water right now. Yeah. It's what I think they're envisioning, but they just haven't been able to get to hold water. So, because a lot of this ground around here was so much limestone, I guess, you just can't get it to make a pond.
Nothing about building ponds.
Yeah, my dad did, and he was very good at it, and he advised us not to try it in this area. He did. We wanted to put one in. As you come down to our property, there's an area there to the left, and I was like, oh, wouldn't it be pretty to have a lake right there? Or a pond, just a big pond. And he's like, why in the world would you want to do that? You live on a creek, And so we didn't do it. And I'm glad, because I think it would have been a major headache for us. But so, Bill, do you think, as far as the weather goes, I wanted to get Bill in here to get the official accumulation, which is right around, we think, about 3 inches from yesterday. Got almost an inch today. But temperatures, one more day of this cold stuff, and then we're going to start really getting mild. Up in really nice weather. We got some rain and stuff next week.
We'll be all right.
We'll be back to normal.
Yeah.
But I needed this respite. I needed a week off, so because they had to work on my knee again. So I was like, man, this was great timing for me. So I really enjoyed.
Well, that
having
knee
the extra
operation,
time.
was it as difficult as the other one, or?
Oh no! It was yes. I don't guess I've told you what they found. I think I talked about it a little bit.
Wasn't it?
It was some glue.
Elmer's.
I don't know, but it was the bonding agent that had seeped out where wherever they put that stuff had seeped through the place where they had attached.
Yeah.
And it had hardened like a little rock there, and that's what we're hoping that's what it was. Yeah. Once I get back to full activity and I don't have
incision very large.
Oh, they had to open my whole knee.
They did.
Up. Yeah. So that's so that's the only thing I'm dealing with right now is that. So I've really enjoyed having the week off, because it was I went back to school on Tuesday, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be a rough week. But so thank you, Lord. I appreciate the snow week. It's been nice.
I had
Give me
both
a
knees
chance.
bad. I did one.
Yeah.
And lost 20 pounds.
And then
after
you
that,
didn't
and
need
the
the other
other knee
one.
doesn't hurt anymore.
There you go.
That weight loss.
There you go. So there's something to be said for it. But I don't want anybody to take my experience and go, well, I'm afraid what'll happen. What happened with me was very odd.
Yeah.
Super odd. I mean, they couldn't figure it out. I mean, I think they need to do a case study on me. And anyway, I'm sorry, but we're wanting to talk weather. I'm excited though that I feel like Amy Corbin, I think spring is on the way. Okay. She said a couple of days ago, she's going to go to Belk's and get her she goes, I'm going to Belk's to buy shorts and flip flops. I'm done with it before the snow came in on like Tuesday. So,
I would like to make a mention this coming Saturday at Trevecca College is SWAD Day, as a Severe Weather Awareness Day. They do it once a year.
Okay.
All the TV weather people will be there on all the
Nice.
channels. Lots of weather service people there, and lots of organizations that fool with weather will have little booths there.
Cool.
Every year for the last 3 years, I know they've given away weather radios. Channel 5 has given away weather radios. Real, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
What's it, $25, $35, something
Yeah, it's a
like
nice
that.
little prize. Uh-huh.
And it's at Trevecca College. It starts at 9 o'clock Saturday,
Okay.
free. There's lectures. There's these people will be on stage. You can ask them questions. They pass a microphone
cool.
around. You ask questions. But you can go or come anywhere and anytime you want to.
Mm-hmm.
They'll have a weather balloon release at noon to show you. They have your little radio signs on the bottom of it. It carried up and transmits what's going on in the upper atmosphere. And there'll be trucks there with radar dishes on them.
Cool.
Lots of stuff. If you're ever interested in weather and how they do it,
Mm-hmm.
that's the place to go. And
Okay.
each booth has information. You get your little sack,
Mm-hmm.
and you stuff in the sack all they have. They might have pencils or,
Yeah.
whatever, little things, but that weather radio is neat. And no telling what they'll come up with next time. It gets bigger every year.
Okay.
Big auditorium, and it's really neat. I go, but like I say, you really need to get on weather.gov, G-O-V, and look up SWAD, S-W-A-D, and register ahead of time. So it gives them an idea of how many is going to be there, so they'll know how much to bring. So it's a real neat thing. And like I say, I've gone every year. It's been the last 4 or 5 years, I guess. I don't remember when it started, but it gets bigger all the time. And you see people there. I know they had a special guest speaker last year that was really well known in the weather community all over the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll probably have somebody like that again.
Okay.
And they'll show videos, slides, and talk about it in different situations and all, and weather awareness, and how to do different things and how to read things, and what weather forecasts actually consist of, and it's just I've never seen anything so good that doesn't cost anything.
Lee Marie's wanting to know if Danielle Breezy will be there.
She usually is.
Okay. There you go. So
They all are.
all the locals.
All the guys, 17, 2, 4,
I
5,
love
8,
Leland.
all that.
Leland State.
Not 8, but
Yeah.
17.
But,
and
well,
then
very
there's some
cool.
people up in Kentucky that'll be there.
Okay.
University of, up in Bowling Green, they have a weather. You can get a meteorological degree from up there. They'll be there.
Okay.
And there's like amateur radio groups. And, it's just very interesting. And it's such a crowd. You have to get there early so you can get up to the booths because there's so many people there. And some weather geeks that ask 50 million questions,
Oh, I bet. That's interesting.
So anyway, I hope Bree is there. She's not at Channel 5 anymore, but she's usually there.
I wonder what in the world happened with her. When she left, that was weird. Because I love her. I love Channel 5. Channel 5's always been my local.
She's not talking.
Okay, well, I just I hated to see her leave because she was absolutely one of my favorites. Absolutely,
me too.
she was so good,
Very sharp.
so good, and love Leland. I haven't seen him in years, But
Sharpest dresser you'll ever see.
oh, listen,
anywhere.
he used to do his kids. He had some kids about the same age as mine, and we ended up at the childbirth fairs working them from a media perspective because I would do the remote, the live radio thing, and he'd be there from the TV station for the childbirth fairs at Baptist Hospital.
Yeah.
What was Baptist? Because that was where you had your kids whenever our kids were born. That was where everybody went for their, to have their babies, and so all my kids were born there. But we used to do all kinds of things there, and that's how I got to know him. Just a sweetheart, just a nice guy. Him, Nick Barris, all those guys up at Channel 5. Just Channel 5 has always kind of been my go-to. I love Channel 5. And, Chris, all those guys up there. I mean, long retired, but, just all those great guys. Just a really good organization. But I hate to see her leave there. And she was really my favorite, one of my favorites. But, well, that's interesting. So, again, it's this Saturday at Trevecca. If you're into weather, that's where you want to be. And you say it starts about what time?
Starts at 9.
Starts at 9.
Registration's at 9 o'clock.
Will it be obvious where you need to go when you get on campus, or is it just to the auditorium? Or
Auditorium. It's
the main auditorium.
If you'll get on that site I was telling you about, look up SWAD, SWAD.
Okay.
And it'll give you directions. In fact, I made a copy of it and left it at home and everything, but gives you directions to Trevecca College. You go in on Lafayette Street, you go in that way. And,
Lafayette?
People,
Lafayette? You say Lafayette around here, y'all.
They don't say Lafayette around
no,
here. No,
I've heard people say it, and I'm like, you're obviously not from here.
Right. And there's plenty of parking.
Okay.
But if you get there a little late, it'd be better to get there early. You don't have to walk as far.
Yeah.
Because there'll be a lot of cars there. But there's so many people, and each year, so many people more and more that
okay.
Gets a little crowded. It fills up that place.
Okay.
This auditorium.
Well, interesting. Okay, well, that's cool. And I feel like this is, even though we're having a lot of cancellations, again, we talked about this yesterday. Lee Marie's she goes, is Ryan Hall, y'all going to be there? That must be one from one of the TV stations.
I love him. He's a good one.
Is he a good one? Okay.
I've subscribed to his channel.
Who is that? Is he like, does he do an independent thing, kind of like a Smokey Barnes kind of news?
Yeah, but just weather. Just
weather. Okay.
He stays right on top of it.
Well, see, I respect the heck out of those guys that have built their own thing.
Ryan Hall, you all.
Yeah. Ryan Hall, y'all. I think that's cool because, that's what I tell my kids, teaching audio video production. You can do anything. Everybody's a broadcaster. You can all do it. Yeah. Anything you want to do, just go for it. And that's why I give a lot of credit to Smokey Barnes because I'm telling you what, Jim's out there.
Boy, he amazes me.
He blows my mind. And it just like we had something happen whenever they put Greenbrier in lockdown the other day, we had somebody there was a murder up in the Smiley Hollow area.
Yeah.
And so they had somebody, they were looking for it, and so they locked the schools down. And the kids immediately see what Smokey says. Yeah. And I got so tickled. And I told Jim, I said, you need to come on and talk to me. He's shy. No, he's not. But I called him. I said, I just got to give you credit because I said, the kids, first thing they did said, what's Smokey say about it?
He's in a rush all the time. He'll call me.
Yeah.
What's the weather going to do? And then he's
off.
Just real quick. You don't want to chat,
funny. Yeah. But nonetheless, people like Ryan Hall, y'all, Smokey Barnes, Jim Ball, you really have to appreciate the way they give us that local detail.
Well, if you didn't have Smokey Barnes, what would you have?
Nothing here.
We don't have.
We've got the connection that does county and does other counties, but it's not as thorough. And those you hear. I heard there was a wreck up on such and such, and you go Smokey Barnes, and 9 times out of 10 he'll have it. Now give the guy. Sometimes he can't get to everything because he's pretty much on his own. But I can't say enough about these independent folks that have built their own thing just by getting on and doing it.
You see him mentioned on the TV news.
Yeah, from time to time.
And he told me, he said, one of them asked him, says, how many people are working for you? He said, I have 35 right now.
He's so crazy.
It's just him. It's not
just him.
Yeah, it's just him.
Yeah.
And I don't know how he does it.
I do not.
Day and night. God
bless him. I love doing what I'm doing. This is just enough for me to keep my foot in broadcasting. I don't need any more. But it's fun. But we do appreciate the ones like Ryan Hall and Smokey Barnes and all those that just bring us that little something extra that are not connected to the networks that can do their own thing independently. And you, Bill. That's why I wanted to have you in here.
Just the little guy.
But you still are an
Not
official
Ryan Hall
reporter.
and all these others, you know.
But you still officially report.
Yeah.
You send in your measurements and all of that. You're
There
one
is
of the
another
officials.
site on Facebook I'd like to mention. It's Robco Weather.
Yeah.
And this is Jason Walker.
Okay.
He's a trained meteorologist. He has a degree in it
Okay.
out of Bowling Green, and he's sharp as a tack. You really need to watch
Robco
him.
Weather, guys.
Yeah.
Robco
Now,
Weather.
He'll use the weather radar he uses. I did at one time. It's so expensive, though. I just quit using it.
Yeah.
But I use one type. He uses another, and between the two, we go back and forth a lot.
Uh-huh.
Between the two of us, we usually are on top of it. But
Uh-huh.
he'll see things I don't see, and
Yeah.
most of the time that's the way it is. But I'm just, it's just a hobby to me. Him, it was. He has a degree. Mine, I was in the weather service in the '60s, so
Yeah, but
I don't remember anything.
but in the military, you had your through the military training, so
Yeah,
all
but
of that.
You need to
so.
watch both. I
Okay,
would
so
say.
Robco, and
I might be up in the middle of the night, and he's not.
I gotcha.
things,
yeah, absolutely. So there you go, guys. We got a Dustin, but do we have any more coming in, or do we think the moisture's done?
No, we got some. It'll be cold tomorrow, colder tomorrow, and
Okay.
you need to look at that wind chill.
Yeah.
And it's going to could be around zero.
Let your pipes drip so you don't have
Yeah,
frozen.
if
We
you
had
can make it through this time, your pipes are in good shape.
well, we had one break on the front of our house, and we didn't realize it until a couple of days later.
Oh.
So we had water everywhere. But if you have something like that happen, guys, what you can do is you can call. Once you get it shut off, and you're like, okay, we fixed it. I called because our water comes from Springfield. You can call them, and so the bill that would have happened during that, they'll make an adjustment on it for you. But you got to wait until that bill comes, because that's one thing. I called them right after the break, said, "Hey, we've had a break. What do we need to do?"
Yeah.
And they said, "When you get billed for that time period, then call us," because it was during that snow. It was during that last little bit of that when we got cold. And it was actually now. It was during a cold snap, not necessarily the cold, because it really wasn't that cold, that last snow that came through, because it warmed up enough that it melted pretty quickly. So we didn't it, if I'm remembering correctly.
I think so. I was thinking I knew some people that had a water break before the meter, and of course that didn't cost them anything.
Oh, okay.
It's on the city side.
Okay.
Come repair it for
Okay.
no charge.
Okay. Well, there you go.
But that doesn't happen very often.
No,
It
not
does. It'll happen right at the meter, but on the city side.
Okay. Well, we're talking about just, what to expect over the next few days as we wait for this stuff to thaw. It's going to be 60 on Tuesday, y'all. Just hang in there. No
I
worries.
think we're having
No worries.
a Florida event.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
me.
I'm tickled my March flowers the green is up, but none of the flowers are budding yet. So hopefully I won't see anything as far as I won't lose my March flowers, because a lot of times I lose my March flowers because we'll have a late frost course. I mean, this is still just February. Guys, March can be anything. Like you said, it looks really good on the front end of
Just known
March.
for winds.
It looks good on the front end, but one of the biggest snows, I tell this all the time. My brother was born on the first day of spring back in 67, and I think 67 or 68. And it was one of the biggest snows I can remember as a child. Of course, I was 5.
Yeah.
So I was just a little kid, but it sure seemed like a big snow. And
I remember the one in 51 because I was 7.
Yeah.
That was
You can get
something
those late snows.
4.5 inches of ice,
Ooh.
snow on top of that.
Ooh. It can happen, y'all. So
A lot of
yeah.
ice.
So, and all these kids have been like, why aren't they calling off school? This is why, because we're going to be out 3 days this week, and we were out already 2. That's 5 of our 10.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
and that's if we can get back on Monday. And we may have been, I think we were out 2. So I think this will be 3, because I know we're not going to go tomorrow. I know we won't get to go tomorrow, but hopefully we'll be back on Monday. So that gives us just 5. And if we have a late season, snow come through, which could happen, you've got all those days that you need to hang on to. So yeah, I saw my old friends at Good Pasture. They're back with a delay today. So sorry, y'all, you got to go back to school. I have a friend that teaches up there, so she didn't get another snow day. I'm sorry, Darlene. But anyway, anything else you think we need to cover? We've got a few minutes here before we wrap up our time.
Sure glad we're not out in the Midwest.
I
Kansas,
know.
They're just 30 below and stuff like that. I don't know how the cattle make it.
I do
just
wonder
don't see how
sometimes.
they do it.
I do
Buffalo,
wonder.
I know Buffalo are pretty
Resilient,
hairy,
but
but
you
they're
know.
used to it. But my goodness,
Mhm.
Oklahoma, Kansas are getting hit. This band of weather coming straight across the United
Mhm.
States. It's hit the Midwest out there. South and North Dakota is down below zero.
Oof.
Oh, it's just I wouldn't live out there. I
We
couldn't do
had
it.
when I was in high school, we had livestock. We were hog production, pretty large hog production, and so we would from farrowing to market. I mean, we
Yeah.
you know we did all the breeding and all that, and they didn't leave our place till they went to market, and so there a lot of spent time on concrete. But the way we would heat the barns, I say we, my dad and my
Yeah.
brother, just brilliant, and they would get used oil and recycle it and burn it to heat the barns.
Good idea.
So, oh my gosh, so innovative, and the things that they did on our farm. And my dad totally could have been an engineer. Could absolutely have been an engineer. My brother too. But a farmer, you have to do a little bit of everything. They know a little bit about everything. So, but that's how they heated the barns because you had to keep your animals warm or they freeze to death. So, but that's how we did it. Is my understanding. My brother could explain it much better than that. Lee Marie is asking one more time, give the name of Saturday's event again, and she's going to put it in the comments for us.
Okay, the short answer is SWAD, SWAD, a Severe Weather Awareness Day. They
Okay.
teach you about severe weather, how to be safe, how to be aware of it, what to look for. But the great thing about it is all the major TV weather personalities are there.
Mm-hmm.
They have morning and night different people. They'll all be there. They have booths that different ham radio operators or emergency groups that around the mid-state will be there, and they give away things. They give you a sack, and here you go down the line picking up
Okay.
stuff that they have to give away. And then the last 3 years, I can remember, Channel 5 gave weather radios away. They'd have a huge stack, but you need to register. You don't have to, but to register so they'll know how many to expect, so they won't
Right.
run out.
Well, and she's even asking, she said, is there a cost? And I said, no, it's
No,
free.
no, it's free.
Completely free. So,
And
in
you
other
can
words,
come and go as you want to. Come at 9 o'clock and leave at 10 if you want to, but
So-
you're missing out.
they didn't have a drawing for the weather radios? They would just give them
No,
out?
you just pick them up.
What?
I saw some people
Yeah.
get two. They'd go back in the line,
Oh.
but they shouldn't do that.
No, you shouldn't do that, y'all.
No.
So they get an
Anyway,
extra weather radio.
it's the neatest thing for free I have ever seen. It's
Yeah.
Trevecca College.
Okay.
I think it's a business center, they call it, this auditorium. And I would get there before 9
Okay.
and to get a good parking place because as cold as it is,
Yeah.
you don't want to walk a long ways.
Right.
They'll have a weather balloon release at noon.
Okay.
That's not the Weather Service. That's one of these other organizations that do that
Right.
out of Kentucky. And they demonstrate how they follow it with radios.
Mm-hmm.
They'll have trucks there with radar dishes on it, antennas that travel around, for temporary
Yeah.
weather observation.
If you're interested in weather, this is the place
Yeah.
to be on Saturday.
Even if you're not
For
but
sure.
halfway interested,
Yeah.
it's
it
interesting.
sounds fascinating.
Yeah,
it
it
sounds,
is.
sounds
And
fascinating.
Like I
So,
say, you can ask questions. You can talk to them directly if you can get up close to them because most everybody else is trying to do the same thing. So
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to get up there. Oh, I want to mention one other thing. There's another organization called Kokoros, and I've been doing Kokoros for 17 years.
what is that one?
It is a rain collection organization. You report it every morning at 7 o'clock. It goes back to Denver, Colorado to water study people.
Mm-hmm.
And and I've been reporting it every year. And you have a special rain gauge
Mm-hmm.
that you collect, and they teach you how to collect hail
Okay.
damage, how to collect rain, how to collect snow, and You can go on the internet and look at it. Coco, RHAS, I think is what it is, sort of unusual. If you'll get sort of the spelling, it'll come up with it on the internet. But it's really a nice thing. I mean, you don't get paid anything, but one thing happened to me one time. I had a lawyer call me, and he had called them, and he had a lawsuit down here in Pleasant View. The Tennessee State Highway Department had thrown some mud or something in somebody's yard and damaged it. And so the homeowner hired this lawyer. And they told the lawyer I had the statistics for that date, which was 2 years ago. And so he calls me, and I meet with him. We sit down and talk. And he said, "Well, I'm going to have you for a deposition." I said, "I don't really want to do that.
Uh-oh.
I'll put everything. I've got all the statistics. I'll write it down." I pulled it off what I put on Kokoros, and they settled out of court because once the other side saw the statistics I had that I furnished him, they knew they were dead to right, and I was pretty close, not far away. So that was sort of unusual.
Interesting.
I didn't really want to go to court.
Yeah, but that's
you don't
interesting.
usually anyway. But anyway, Kokoros is a freebie. You get on. You do need to buy a special rain gauge. Mine is 4 inches in diameter because they're more accurate. The Weather Service uses 8-inch round can for rain collection. All these little electronic weather stations you get, they're inaccurate as far as rainfall because they usually come up with less than what it is. It's okay to get sort of a general ballpark that you had rain or not, but they're good on temperature and humidity and all that, the rest of that stuff. With the rain part, manual collection is the most accurate way to do it. So
very cool.
I want to mention that if you'll just check it out. And there, every morning you can see how everybody reported. And, just like this last snow, we were all within just a little bit of each other's snow collection.
Right.
But then you get some others who have little old cheap, little rain gauges, and they're not accurate, and they'll be way off, but.
Well, so we said we were right around 3 inches of snow in the first snow. We got almost an inch last night. So the question is, what was the official, before we go, and I know Matt's out there, we'll get him in here in just a second, but what was the official total of the rain we got through all that flooding? How much did we get?
That varied a lot.
Okay.
I had 5 3/4 inches.
Oh, really? So I'd heard more than
some
that.
people, I did too. It was a lot of variation.
Okay. Like up in our area, about 5 3/4? Okay.
And then those that are in Kokoros, I saw a wide variation too. So we all were pretty accurate with our readings, but it was, within, you can have, I can get more rain on one side of my house than the other.
Well,
it's just, rain is that way. It depends on the wind blowing, depends on a lot of stuff, so.
Yeah. I know my brother said 7 that they got up in around Mayfield.
Well,
where he farms he had some of his lowland that
was more than we were.
Yeah.
Because it was more.
Yeah, he had lots. I thought we were up there too, but.
Even north of Robinson County and south will vary on when those bands are coming across like that.
Okay.
So don't,
Interesting. I was wondering, I've been meaning to ask you what we got this weekend because my brother will want to know. And
0.72 or something like that. I believe it was.
So, all right then. Well, thank you, Bill.
Okay.
Well, you can go back and chill out for the rest of the day now, I guess.
I got a lot of stuff to do.
I know you do. You stay busy. So thank you for coming in and giving us the official. And we'll let Matt Driscoll make his way in here while I talk about our sponsor, Barry and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime Realty. Are you wanting to do something different with real estate that you have? Maybe it's been some land that you're getting older and you're wondering if anything's going to happen with it in the family. And you think, maybe I want to downsize. Well, Rebecca is one of the first in the area to be a seniors real estate specialist specifically trained to help you with just that question. So if you want somebody that can come in and help you navigate those waters, she has been specifically trained to help you do that. She's been in real estate a long time. She came out of a different background, though. She was in radiology for a long time. And when she started venturing into full-time real estate, she said she looked at a lot of different companies because she wanted one that checked all of the boxes that she needed. And there was maybe we'll get them in here soon and maybe let her just kind of go over the benefits of working with Exit. And I say that because if you're somebody that's looking to do real estate for maybe a secondary position, so you're wanting to do it on the side, maybe you're wanting to do it, wanting to switch over and go full-time like she and Barry did, they can help mentor you with that. And they love the Exit company. They were with the Garden Gate team for a long time. They started their own branch in the Exit tree last year, and they are now Exit Prime Realty. You can Google either Barry Richards, Rebecca Richards, Exit Prime Realty, find out all kinds of good stuff about them, unique web pages. You'll find Facebook pages. You'll find out how they have been involved with historic properties that they've worked with and sold. They're in Cross Plains, so they specialize in Robertson County properties, but they also buy and sell in the surrounding counties and across the state line in Kentucky because, like me, they're originally from Kentucky, so they understand the nuances of if you want to have property up in Kentucky and maybe you live there, but you work here and they have a state income tax. How's that work? Well, you got to pay it. That's how it works. If you want to talk to them, you can get in touch with them at sellwithbecky.com, sellwithbecky.com, or robertscounty.com. Or you know what? Come and sit and talk to them at the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival coming up on May 16th and 17th. You can sit across from them and talk to them about that. But remember, Barry's office is the brokerage office here in Springfield. Hers is the agency office up in White House. And they would love to talk to you about everything, all your questions answered in real estate. Barry and Rebecca Richards, Exit Prime Realty. When you talk to them, let them know you turn.
Good morning.
Did not oversleep this time.
I did not oversleep.
I will not let you forget that.
I
He
love
overslept
snow
on.
day.
He overslept. He's a teacher like us, and like my husband and I. And so my computer decides I got to get on my phone to see what's
my
going
alarm
on.
my alarm went off normal wake up time, and
Yeah.
I don't have to. I got a little bit of time. I'll just lay here for a minute.
And you fell back to sleep.
And fell back asleep.
Well, that's okay because we worked it out. We always have
when I
stuff
got
to
your
talk
phone,
about.
when I got your phone call, it's like, oh wow, I'm not gonna make it.
Yeah, because we were actually going to give you a call so you could talk about some of the things that you have going on at Epiphany Baptist because you have got this movie night coming up, and so I was like, well, I'll just call him and we'll just do it, we'll do it on the phone. But I didn't get an answer from you, and so I finally decided just to not even try. Well, then Ryan Martin showed up, because he was out and about. Our city manager, I was so surprised to see that the city manager was out early having to help, make sure the roads were clear and all that. And they're having to do it again because we got nearly an inch last night
I
again.
was surprised. It was kind of nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
walk
I
up
say it's kind of nice because to me, it's like as a teacher, it's like, yeah, come on, snow.
Yeah,
I'm sitting home doing the snow dance. I'm like, come on.
we're going.
It's awesome.
We're out till Monday, flushing ice cubes down the toilet. That's what
Ah, we haven't got the
looking.
call. We haven't got the we haven't got the call for tomorrow yet.
Oh, we haven't either. And again, my administrators are going, "Shut up, LaVern, shut up."
Yeah.
And but I mean, it's pretty obvious.
We'll see how the sun goes today.
I just
there's a
no,
lot
but
of-
it's not going to get out of the 20s.
It never really got out of the 20s yesterday, but the
No.
ground wasn't frozen.
Yeah, but still, that's just, and it did. It cleared a lot yesterday to where I was thinking
It's-
maybe
it's
we'll be
'cause-
back Friday.
It's because the ground's not quite frozen from all that rain we had.
Yeah, but I'll
That's
tell
what's
you,
telling my kids.
it's 8 right now out there.
Now with that, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's not. Well, we're out tomorrow.
My
just
feelings won't be
guarantee it.
hurt. My feelings won't be hurt.
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to having to go back and deal with them for one day after because we had Friday off, then
Oh,
they have
yeah.
4-day weekend.
Their head would not be in the game if we go back to school tomorrow.
Come back for one day, then
I
off
would
a
like to get
couple.
back Monday though.
Yeah.
We got a lot to do, and we're looking at sunshine and 49 degrees on Sunday. I feel like we'll be back on Monday.
Yeah, we'll definitely be back.
Yeah, I think we'll be back on Monday.
It's probably just like this is the worst part about being a teacher though is like you like to get into a rhythm,
Yes.
have a routine, and
Mhm.
when you lesson plan, you don't lesson plan for the day. You try to lesson plan for the week. And all of a sudden have a day here, day off there, just kind of throws off the whole rhythm and the
can't-
flow
yes.
and
Well, and us, we do the news, and we recorded a newscast on Tuesday, and the entire thing was absolutely worthless by the time they called off school because it canceled everything we talked about. So we didn't even post it.
yes, I'm rooting for it, but then at the same time too, it's like,
Yeah.
come on, if we're gonna stay, let's just stay.
Yeah, let's get it done. So a nice full week. Well, we're in the middle of something. My kids, my older kids, my AV3s are producing a production called about the Ides of March. The assassination of Caesar, and it's a satirical look at it. We did it very, very rough cut of it last year because it was just kind of a last minute thing I kind of came up with. I thought they'd have fun with, and they did. So now we've involved the theater kids, and we've got like 3 green screens to put it up on the stage in the theater. So we're blocking it better. We're putting more into it. I'm letting one of the kids direct it and have, you know what I mean? It is, I'm real excited, but we were going to record that this week. And so now we're a week behind production. So we've got, Monday and Tuesday, we need to produce that thing.
Yeah, it's
And,
got little overruns.
Yeah. Well, but we've got our Caesar is out Wednesday and Thursday next week because he's a senior and he's got an acting gig. And he's an
Use AI. You just use AI for that. Use AI.
Stop. No. That's something I'll tell you. You talk about this as a conversation we had we had a guest speaker in, Steve Bisher, that is the director of all the media type things. I forget. I'm sorry, Steve. I can't remember exactly what your title is over at Vol State, but he is a Grammy Award winning sound engineer. I mean, he's got like 5 Grammys. He's got like 100 songs that are number one. He's the real deal. He's so good. And we were talking, and he came in and talked to my class, and one of my kiddos who's just super smart and is interested in audio engineering. And talking about you, Aiden Raymer, I brag on him all the time. He's just one of those kind of Renaissance kind of people that can do a little bit of everything. And he said the other day, he says they need to come up with a watermark that is attached to things that have AI. And Steve looked at him and said, that's a great idea. And so now we've got to just get a hold of our congressman and say, okay, we need something pushed through that gives us some artistic protection, because there's somebody, and Steve mentioned it when he was in there. He said, there is a big contention right now, and this may have happened with the Grammys. I don't watch any of that stuff, but there was an actor that was up for Best Actor. You know, I don't know. I guess I don't know what award he was up for, or maybe he's still up for it. And the contention was that he had to use a particular type of accent, like a Scottish accent or something, and his accent wasn't great, and so they AI'd it. They took and they fixed it with AI. And so now he's being up for this award for this acting, and it was AI.
I think when it comes to acting, it doesn't really bother me as much. But I think with music, and I've had these discussions with my kids. I think with music, though, the songs that last, AI cannot reproduce.
No, I agree.
Because there's an AI that doesn't have emotion.
Yeah.
Like Linkin Park, for my rock fans out there, most of his songs were about his threats of suicide. So when Chester, after Chester, lead singer of Linkin Park, committed suicide, you go back and listen to his songs, his lyrics. AI could not have written that.
Yeah.
I mean, every song is Chester reaching out in pain, and it's just like, it broke my heart. It's like, man, how do we not see it, kind of thing.
Right.
And AI cannot reproduce that.
Yeah.
It cannot reproduce, because it doesn't have the feeling of the emotion. And so I think for music, I think good lasting music, AI can't touch.
Well, then you got your achy breaky hearts. They could have written that.
Yeah, and that's fine, but those are the ones that aren't going to last.
Achy breaky heart, it's still out there.
It lasts, but it's not a great song.
No, it's terrible.
You'll hear it at a wedding, you'll hear it at a bar somewhere as a line dance.
Yeah.
But it's not a classic. It's not. Yeah. It's just not going to. Man, you hear that song, you're like, oh, I'm so glad to hear that song. It brings me to this place in my soul.
I get what
so
you're saying.
That's what I'm talking about. I don't think AI would be able to do that. But hey, because we got a little shorter today, but I do want to talk about as far as movie night.
Let me do something real quick. I had said earlier that Good Pasture was on a 2-hour delay, and they decided to cancel. So I was teasing my Good Pasture friends that they had to go to school today. Guess not. So you got the day off. So I just wanted to accurately report that, since I had inaccurately said they had to go for a 2-hour delay today. So now we've got just a little bit of time. Matt Driscoll, what is going on with this movie night at Epiphany?
So a couple months, it's something I've been wanting to do for a while, and then finally just got off my butt to start it. Started off the movie Reagan. A great movie. If you've not seen that, you got to watch it, especially if your childhood. If you grew up in the 80s.
I haven't seen it. I need to watch it.
It was a great movie. I mean, I've lost count how many times I've watched it already now. So we started off watching that. Then about a month later, we watched Bonhoeffer, and that was an amazing movie. Which I'm gonna put a pin there because it's something I want to talk about right before we get off too. Dietrich Bonhoeffer, German theologian, that basically was one of the lone voices for Christianity during Nazi Germany. Amazing man. He's written some amazing books, which I want to talk about after that. But this month we're going to play Average Joe. It's a story of football coach up in Washington State. They got fired for praying with his boys after the football games. Sued the state and the town. Sued the state and the town. Made it all the way to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court overturned it the year of COVID, so it's been about 2 years now. So basically, it's Joe's journey through his life and his walk. I mean, he grew up not being a Christian. Grew up in a foster system. kind of abandoned. He had a rough go.
Mm-hmm.
He joins the Marines. The Marines kind of squirm away a little bit, gets out, gets married to a Christian girl. What comes to faith, they say somebody on the sports team sees him out running. He's like, "Hey, you look fit. Why don't you come out coach? You're a Marine. You should kind of bring that Marine mentality to the kids." The thing is, he wasn't even a head coach.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part about it. He wasn't even the head coach. He was an assistant coach. And, it was just the end of the game. He just decided to go out there and pray. And living in a liberal state like Washington at the time, people started getting
they got upset about it.
They got upset about it and raising Cain over it. And next thing you know, he got fired. And because they told him to stop. And he's like, no, I'm not going to stop.
Yeah.
And I love it as far as like a constitutionist. I love it because, the separation of church and state was not intended to keep church out of the state. It was designed to keep the state out of the church.
Yeah.
But somewhere along the way, we've twisted it to meet their narrative, and we've taken God out of everything. Look, I pray with my boys at the end of every practice. Forget every game. We pray at the end of every practice. I let them know, hey, if you want to pray with me, come on over here.
Yeah,
we're gonna pray. I'm gonna pray over here. We'll do a prayer for you. Every practice. So and I dare somebody tell me no.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, that's my right.
Mm-hmm.
I've served my country for that right.
Yes.
And to have somebody tell me no is just not going to happen, even if Joe had not won or not.
Mm-hmm.
No, I did not serve my country to have you tell me no where I can and cannot pray.
Mm-hmm.
That's just no.
I'm with you.
Not what the Constitution says.
I'm with you, and I think that's something. And I think that's something that we have been so cautious about. Not. I've heard so many Christians say, and it makes me just want to cringe. Well, I'm a person of faith, but I don't wear it on my sleeve. And I'm like, well, you better, and you better write it on your forehead, like you said for us too. Mm-hmm. Because if you're not bold in confessing Christ and your faith to others and standing up in love for what you believe in, he's not going to defend you when you're standing before the throne of God. I mean, that's a promise, and we've got to get bolder about our faith. And we're like, well, I don't want to offend him. I don't care. I'm not. I'm not. I've never set out to offend anybody.
If you do it right, you're not going to offend.
No.
It's not. You're not there to offend.
Well,
if me praying offends you,
walk away.
Then check yourself.
Walk away.
If listening to you and I have this conversation on the radio offends you,
turn it
change the channel.
Yeah. And I had a preacher one time say, he was there's scripture that talks about, well, if your brother is offended, you need to do this, this, and this. And he was, this Steve Flatt, whenever he was preaching up at Madison, he goes, sometimes your brother being offended, your brother's problem and not yours, because some people will take offense to everything. Mm-hmm. And you've got to not take those things and go, well, if you're offended that I'm doing this, so I can't do this. Well, in love, explain to them why you're doing some things.
What they're talking about there, it's not offensive. Like, okay, hey, I'm praying is going to offend you. No, it's, hey, I said something that I probably shouldn't have said. Is what they're talking about. You didn't. Yes. That's what they're referring to. And we all do that, and that's what that's counseling towards. It's not counseling to watch every little thing you do that get somebody all wound up, because that's just stupid.
Right.
Think of Peter. You look at Peter. Peter, I guarantee you, Peter denies Jesus 3 times. He didn't do it a 4th. Yeah. He did not do it a 4th.
Right.
And this is what we're called to do, man.
And he repented for it.
He did.
So, and a lot of that scripture is talking about that if you're, trying to reach somebody for Christ, and they might be offended if you drink alcohol, okay, then maybe, don't offer them alcohol, or something like that. I mean, that's kind of that kind of thing. A lot of people are teetotalers because they are very cautious about it might affect their influence on somebody that they're trying to lead to Christ, and they don't want to have anything that could do that. And so that's why in some areas you do find around here, you got a lot of people won't touch it because they're concerned about what it will do for their influence of others. And I respect that. I mean, that's what.
Yeah, that's a choice.
Yeah, exactly.
But Jesus turned water into wine, and he's somebody that does. I don't drink, but I don't get offended by it. I love how we get squirrely.
I know we went squirrely.
But yes, we do the movie night. So this month we're doing March 1st at 6 p.m. at Epiphany Baptist. March 1st at Epiphany Baptist at 6:00.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be having the movie night. I set up a big old large screen. We use the church surround sound. We get the popcorn machine going. Family friendly night, very easy. Plenty of stuff for the kids to do and run around. I'm trying to stick to movies
Mm-hmm.
that maybe not necessarily just historical, but things that you can go home and have conversations about.
Right.
You know, I don't want to describe so much of feel good movies, so I'm trying to be selective as far as movies that you and your husband and wife or spouse or even if you're teenagers, you guys can go home and say, "Wow, what did you think about that?"
Mm-hmm.
It starts opening up the door for some conversation.
Right.
I know the first two movies with Reagan. I mean, there was so much in Reagan that just opened like for great conversations, especially if you grew up and if your kids didn't grow up and you want to share some of what what you experienced through those years. With Bonhoeffer, I mean, oh man, Bonhoeffer was awesome. We had a really packed house for Bonhoeffer, and when the movie was done, and as they're rolling the credits and they're putting up stats about Bonhoeffer at the very end, you could hear a pin drop
Wow.
in there. And I've already seen the movie like a couple of times now at that point, so I already knew it was coming. So I was able to just kind of sit back and just kind of be amazed at like everybody just like the stillness in the room. That's how good of a movie it was.
Okay.
You know, a movie's good where people aren't, credits time to bounce. Yeah,
That's one I had intended to watch with you guys, but it originally had been scheduled for the week that we got the snow, and y'all had to postpone it, and then I lost track of when you were doing it. So that's one I really want to see.
It was awesome.
I think you could repeat that one, and I would love to try to be. I'd love to come and see that one because I would love to see Bonhoeffer.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to find movies like that that we're going to play. So, it's worth cheap date night too. It's free. It doesn't cost you nothing.
True.
Like I said, we'll have soda, and popcorn there to chill. A lot of times everybody's bringing little snacks, so it's kind of like going to a drive-in,
Right.
We can bring your own snacks and stuff like that. So we're gonna do this the first Saturday of every month.
Okay.
The only time we don't have it on the calendar is June, July.
Right.
That was just because of the holidays.
Yeah.
Other than that,
Because of summer.
yeah, the first Saturday of every month, regardless of what else is going on, I will have a movie night going.
There you go.
Easy free date night. Like I said, try to do good movie selection. I'm a movie buff, as you know.
I know.
So for me, if we're gonna do this, just pick something quality.
Right.
And I'll more than likely not. I've already pre-watched it ahead of time.
Make sure it's appropriate.
Yeah, it's appropriate. Is it worthy putting up there?
Yeah.
Where everybody's not gonna be bored.
Yeah.
I think there's Average Joe. Average Joe, it's not quite Bonhoeffer quality, but man, it's a good story.
Yeah.
And when you sit back and think about what this guy had to go through and why he felt so devout to fight the fight.
Yeah.
He could have very easily caved and said, okay, you know what, whatever. Like you said, we have so many teachers around here that want to be professed Christians. Like, I don't want to offend, whatever. No, I don't care if I offend. I'm not trying to offend. I'm just because I walk in the door, I don't.
Trying to be the light, man.
I don't lose my First Amendment rights the moment I walk in the door. I don't lose my right to be a Christian the moment I walk in that door.
And when I was saying that, that's not teachers I'm quoting; those are broadcasters that I know.
And I won't. And I'm not
people in the broadcast world.
I've had teachers say the same thing.
Right.
It's like you'll go in there, they'll have like a little cross here and there, but yet they'll never really talk it or show it because heavens forbid they say something.
Well.
Look, I talk it, but I'm mindful that I'm not trying to preach to the kids.
Oh yeah, but
but no, my kids all know what I do. They know who I am.
Same here.
And I am very delicate in the way where I'm not trying to change your lifestyle. But
if you have questions, you can ask me.
Well, it's like we tell in Celebrate Recovery, tell folks, look, Jesus Christ is our one and only higher power. We're not making any apologies for it, but we're going to let him meet you where you're at.
Yeah.
Not us. But I'm going to share what he's done in my life. And I'm going to do that unabashed. So,
Amen.
So back to the Bonhoeffer thing. Look up the clock. Bonhoeffer thing. So one of his books, and I think what's awesome about the movie, and I'm really kind of fired up, hopefully get a good response on this, is I'd like to do a book group. What do they call it? Is that a book group?
Book club.
Book club. Okay, book club.
Girls call it a book club.
Okay. I'm gonna do an online book club.
Okay.
For Bonhoeffer's book, The Cost of Discipleship. So if you've seen the movie, you know anything about it, man, this book it's a great book. I read it in college when I was going through seminary, and I gave him a copy away or something because I can't find it. Eventually, I bought a new copy, and I just rereading it again. I forgot what an amazing book it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about. It talks about basically just to grace is cheap grace,
Mm-hmm.
and there's expensive grace, or heavy. And we live in such a cheap grace world where we think, oh, just because I say this prayer, I do this, I'm good to go. No, there is a true cost of calling yourself a Christian. You've got to be like the Joe Kennedys. Are you willing to say, no, I am not going to back down from this fight? I am going to. I mean, it's a great book. How that's going to look, right now I'm thinking I'm probably going to do like a Facebook Live
Mm-hmm.
type thing, and I'll do it once a week and allow folks to, I guess, text in or whatever, because I don't think you can bring more than one view on a Facebook Live, I don't think.
I'm just buying Cost of Discipleship on my Audible right now.
So what I'd like to do is I want to give everybody time. If I have the interest, what I'll do is if I have the interest, then I'll say, okay, hey, you have 1 week to buy the book or whatever, and in 1 week I'll start that. We'll start it off. But I mean, he's one of my favorite theologians, just because not so much as far as like what he did, like as far as being the plot to kill Hitler and this and that. I think it's more so his love and his passion. He came to America and basically kind of learned to be a black Southern Baptist in New York and Harlem.
Yeah.
And it's just it's a cool story. I mean, this guy had the fire, and he speaks in such a way with passion. And to sit there, imagine getting up in front of like these, the Nazi party and basically shouting them down.
Yeah. And
It's courage.
And he had the opportunity to stay here.
Yeah.
And not go back. I mean, he could have stayed here and stayed safe.
Twice.
Yeah, and it's just
And he had the choice. He had a chance to stay in England.
Mm-hmm.
He had the chance. He chose to go back. He chose to go in the mouth of the lions den.
Yeah.
And it's just that.
And it cost him his life. But I mean, one of the greatest martyrs for faith. I mean, he's just amazing. When there are some, present day martyrs, and he is absolutely at the top of the list.
And once you understand his story, it makes this book jump out that much more.
Oh yeah.
That's what's so crazy about it. It's like once you truly understand who he is, the book comes to life.
And I've read so much about him, but I've never actually read that book.
He was writing.
And so I just got it on Audible. So if you've not discovered Audible and you're just on the go all the time, I keep stuff like that in my ear all the time. And it's just the best way to get extra stuff in, instead of listening to just nonsense, because there's so much nonsense you can listen to out there. Get you an Audible account or listen to shows like this. I mean, just some great books and podcasts that will really enrich your life. But definitely the Bonhoeffer story is just one that I have absolutely always been so intrigued by. And I've got to watch that movie. I have not watched that movie. I got to get me a copy of it.
Back to the book things. I do that as well. Okay. So what I'll do is I will listen to it. Especially like when I was in college, we had 6-week classes, right? So we'd have to read a book in a short amount of time. So I would listen to it, and if something was said, then I would go back to the book and I would highlight. And I'd go back. Okay, this was said. This is interesting. Look to see what chapter it was. I'd go in and find it. Because there is still something said to be reading black and white. Like during Christmas break, I read like 6 books. Mm-hmm. And because I'm trying to incorporate more books in my classroom. And I was telling my kids that. I'm like, yeah, I read 6 books. Like, you read how many? I'm like, yeah, it's called reading, guys. It's a beautiful thing. I
love to read.
There's something about it, and it's just kind of funny. But Bonhoeffer is not a 2-day read. It's definitely not. The Cost of Disciple is definitely not a 2-day read. It's a good size. It's not super thick, but it's deep, and it's so, it's crazy.
Have you read the other one he has? What is the other title?
The one he wrote when he was in prison?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the name of it. There's 2 of them. I can't remember. There's another Bonhoeffer book that's really popular too. But is that the one you've read? I haven't read them. I mean, I've read
bits and pieces of it. I've not read it cover to cover.
Yeah.
So
But-
the cost of discipleship was one of our reading assignments in
Mhm.
school, and I read it. But then as I really got to know more about Bonhoeffer, and it's just that book, I loved it. I think I liked it so much I let somebody borrow it.
Mm-hmm.
I never got it back because I
Uh-oh.
looked everywhere. I have books so many different places. Every place I have books squirreled, I have looked. I cannot find it.
Yeah.
It's bugging me because I got, every chapter I think's highlighted.
Yeah, you
Then
got
like-
stuff in there you'd
Then
like
I
to
can say,
have.
hey, I would love to use this in a sermon, or I want
Yeah.
to use this in a lesson or something.
Mhm.
This would be a good one to throw in there somewhere,
Right.
And it was like, oh man, I can't find it. So I'm having to go back through, and as I'm rereading it again, I'm kind of re-highlighting. It might be some of the same stuff I highlighted last time. Who knows? Or it's just kind of like the Bible. You can read the Bible cover to cover, and just depends where you're at in your
You gotta
walk,
find something new
and
every
something
time.
else jumps out at
Yeah.
you, and or hits you a different way. So
Very good.
kind of the same way, probably Bonhoeffer.
I tell you, we're out of time, buddy.
Yeah, but please join us on February 1st or March 1st for movie night at Epiphany Baptist. It's 211 First Avenue. Again, that's 211 First Avenue at Epiphany Baptist at 6 p.m. for Average Joe.
Very good. And always for Celebrate Recovery on Tuesday nights. You want to do that invite?
Yeah, come join us Tuesday nights. Dinner 5:30. Large service starts at 6:30. Again, that's 211 First Avenue, Springfield, Tennessee. 211 First Avenue.
And when are your regular services?
Regular service Sunday at let's see, we have church service at 10. We have Bible studies, Bible groups starting at 9. I would love to, Bible studies starting at 10.
Got a new preacher?
New pastor Mark Stone.
Yep.
He's our Sunday pastor. Good guy, good family. Him and his wife are great additions. We look hope to see.
It's a great group. It's a great group. I'll tell everybody, my family is the Madison Church of Christ, my spiritual family, but my crazy cousins are up here at Epiphany Baptist. So I love them. I love them. I'm there on Tuesday nights. And,
Small but mighty.
yeah,
That's all I can say.
it's a great congregation. So there you go, guys. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Matt, for not
ma'am.
oversleeping this time. And thank you, Bill Jones, for coming in and giving us that official weather update. If you missed it, be sure and go back and check that out and hear what he has to say. Tomorrow, Rachel Culver is in the house. My sister, always fun when Rachel's in the house. So she'll be here for Faith Friday. I hope you can join us. This is 1100 WSGI. God bless. Be safe on the roadways. It's going to be melting very soon, but just not today.
Jesus name.